Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, She Plans, She Budgets. In today's video, we'll be closing out my budget for the month of May, so let's get started. Alright you guys, just want to let you know this is my second time filming this video. The first go around, there was a lot of background noise that I didn't think will pick up so much on camera, but it did. So I didn't want to put out a bad quality video, so I am refilming. And this video will most likely be much shorter just because everything is already put down, written down, and the stickers are placed and all that. So I'm just going to basically be doing a budget closeout overview. All right, and then hopefully for the month of June, I can go back to my normal closeout. But for this video, we're just going to do an overview. So basically, what I haven't shown you guys so far is week number 4 for my weekly spending, and that will go from the 22nd through the 31st of May. All right, so real quick, I'm just going to go over my expense tracker legend. These are the various colors I use for each category. I have gasoline, groceries. Groceries do include laundry products as well as household products. Then I have purple for spending, yellow for eating out, and pink for unbudgeted. Out of my personal spending, I did buy Chinese food for $37.55. I had a Disney Plus subscription come out for $8. I went grocery shopping on the 23rd and spent $2.13 at HEB. The next 3 days were all no spend days. On the 27th, I had my electricity bill for my old house come out for $214. And then I did have eating out again from Uber Eats for $67.51, and then again at Domino's on the next day for $65.38. Then on the 29th, it was a no spend day, but my boyfriend's cell phone bill was due for $93. We did go grocery shopping for $262.36. And I do remember I wanted to say for this transaction, for groceries, I've decided to budget that on a weekly basis. So just about $200 a week. So whenever there's 5 weeks in a month, I'm going to do times, or I'm going to budget $1,000 instead of my normal $800, because I typically go shopping on Mondays, sometimes Tuesday. So I'm going to just start counting the Mondays in the month and then do times 200, and that will be my grocery budget, because you guys will see in a moment that groceries looks severely over budget this month, and technically per the numbers I have put out it is, but if I would have just did 200 a week, it wouldn't look as bad. So just wanted to throw that in there real quick. On the 31st, I ended the month off with pumping gas for 40 bucks, and my utilities bill for my apartment came out for $59.86. So that is all the spending that I did for the end of May between the 22nd and 31st. And then for the overall month, I ended up with 11 no spend days, which I think is pretty good. My goal is usually 15, but I don't think I've reached it in the last couple of months. Yeah, April was 11 and March was 12. I don't think I've hit it so far this year. February was 10, and then January was 14. So I was very close in January. But now we're in June, so I want to have more no spend days. But since I did just move down here in the Texas area, down here in Austin, I have been just spending money, eating out mainly, and yeah. So hopefully I'll have more no spend days in June. So again, this month is ending with 11. All right, so on this page, this is where I keep track of my expense log. I was about to say legend. Expense log for the month. So if you add up everything I spent between May 2nd and May 31st, I spent a total of $2,223.18. So that was a lot. In this category is where I just put if I swipe my credit card. I tend to do that just to earn points or cash back on my credit card. And what I do is after I swipe my card, I'll just transfer the money out of my cash envelopes or sinking funds, because I'll swipe for either or. Just transfer the money out of my cash envelopes or sinking funds to pay off the credit card, and that's how I avoid paying interest. And I just check it off once I do that so I know to make the transfer. All right, and then right here is my weekly check-in page. Here is week 4 from the 22nd through the 31st. These are my categories: gasoline, groceries, eating out, spending, eating out, and unbudgeted. So typically I'll add money in these categories in the first week because I'll transfer the money around the first of the month, and that's when I did that. So nothing was added in week 4, but in each category I spent $40 in gas, $475.48. And groceries, that's because that was two Mondays between these dates. From spending, I spent $37.55. Eating out, I spent $132.89, and then unbudgeted was $0. So my remaining amounts for each category was $4.20 in gas, which isn't bad given that gas prices are extremely high. They've been going up and down, but they're still higher than normal. Groceries ended up being a negative $273.39. And had I budgeted that extra $200 for the 5th week, it would have been still negative, but not as bad. Personal spending, I actually ended the month off in a positive of $22.70. Usually it's $0. And then from eating out, I have a negative $217.55. I was kicking myself, but at the same time, I'm just like, just live my life and just either do something about it, like stop complaining and do something about it, or just go with the flow, just live life. It's not the end of the world. That I prefer to eat out than cook, but obviously I need to cook more often, and my boyfriend and I are working on that by taking turns. But sometimes you just can't beat the convenience. And then for unbudgeted, I'm ending the month off with negative $329.14. So down here, I just did a total of each category of what was spent for the month. So $125.80 for gasoline, $517.55 for eating out, and so forth. So all of this will get transferred into the next page, which is my monthly budget. And all those numbers were plugged in right here. The only one that's different is spending, because I budget $400 a month. That's so that my boyfriend and I can each have $200. I just mark his $200 off as spent. I do not track his spending in this section or here. So that's why that number is just a little bit different. But all the other numbers match from what I totaled down here. And then this totals equals this total. And then plus my boyfriend's $200 will give me the $2,423.18 right here. Okay, and then for my bills and expenses section, so all of my bills were pretty much right on target. So rent was the $20.15. Electric was lower. It came in at $59.86 instead of the $100 budgeted. Internet was $75.38 instead of $77. My Spectrum mobile bill was $14 instead of $20. T-Mobile was the same. Sprint was the same. Renter's insurance, I had a double charge in April, so it was to pay April and May, so I didn't have to pay, and my next time I'll pay is in June. And subscriptions went up by $1 to $83 due to Audible. So that total for this section was $2,434.43. So I was spending some money this month. Whew. And then down here for miscellaneous, for sinking funds, I did allocate $260. My final water bill for my house, I ended up not having to pay anything out of pocket because they pulled that from my escrow. And then for PSE&G, I was expecting to pay my final bill in the month of May, but they actually charged my normal equal payment plan amount for $214, and then they just charged the final bill in June. So this section totaled to be $474. So when you take these numbers and plug them into my budget breakdown, to get a zero-based budget, I needed to pull out of savings, because we're currently living on savings, $5,331.61. So that is the total that I was spent in the month of May that was pulled from savings. I was only planning to spend about $4,931.19. So I did go over the overall month by $400.42. So I do need to be a little bit more mindful of what I spend my money on, but at the same time, I'm not gonna move on. I'm not gonna have any regrets from May. Just, you know, I spent the money, I enjoyed it, and it is what it is, basically. So that's what happened for the overall month. And then for sinking funds, basically how I close this out is I just go through each transaction in my transaction log and subtract that from each category. So I mark here in red the total amount I spent in each category. So from self-care, I spent $58.36, which left me with $1.64. Pets, I spent $35.88, and that left me with $14.12. I do want to mention too that for my sinking funds for pets, whatever is left over in the month for pets, I do roll that over into vets and grooming, which is also for my pets, so that I can like bulk that up for whenever I need to take them to vet visits or buy any grooming supplies to take care of them. So when you see my sinking funds update for June, I will zero this out and I'll go over that explanation again. And then for the rest of the categories between home projects and car insurance, nothing was spent, so those numbers were the same. For car maintenance, I did spend $147.54, which gave me $639.95 ending. And then nothing else was spent in my next two categories. And then car registration, I finally got that taken care of, so that envelope is empty, and that one will be taken off the sinking funds section. All right, so the only thing that happened in week 4 that you guys haven't seen yet was the car maintenance. I did have to replace my fuel cap. Something was going on with that. I don't know if it was like creating air pressure, but it was making the sensors go off for the tire pressure and the engine light. So when, you know, we took it to get it checked out, this was the only issue they can find, luckily, because normally car maintenance be costing hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars. So we walked away with only spending $17.31. So yeah, that is everything for the month of May, with all of my numbers and how everything turned out. So the goal for the next month is always to do better than the previous. If it doesn't happen, you know, don't beat yourself up about it. Just always continue to try to do better. And yeah, so that is everything for today's video. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I will see you all next time. Bye.